Welcome back. This week we're asking the question, is it really worth the price to stay at a Disney resort?
Or should you save some money and stay off property?
We've actually done both. We stayed at Disney's Yacht Club and Coronado Springs, and we've also stayed at Marriott's Royal Palms just outside the Disney World main entrance.
Today we're breaking down the pros and cons, what surprised us, and which option we choose again. If you're planning a Disney World trip, this is for you.
So we're going to walk through both our experiences staying on Disney property at a few different Disney resorts and our experience staying off property. We're going to walk through some pros and cons and just some kind of personal takeaways that we really loved from both. First, we're going to talk about staying on property. And we've stayed as a family at the Yacht Club, which is kind of connected to the beach club. And I also earlier this year stayed at Coronado Springs for a work trip. So we've had experiences at both. And they were pretty great.
I love staying at the Yacht Club. It was so fun to be close to Epcot. I mean, easy walk.
And you're also really close walking distance or Skyliner to Hollywood Studios.
And there's also just that excitement of getting to the Yacht Club, feeling that Disney feel, getting your vacation started. And there's always like amazing smells in Disney resorts.
The term that a lot of people use is you're in the Disney bubble. And there's some truth to that. It just adds to the, if you want to call it the magic or the experience, the theming is always on point, and it's fun because everything just, you feel like you are in the Disney experience the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, part of the Disney experience is always the excellent service. And we definitely experienced that at the Yacht Club.
Yeah. And I've experienced that at Coronado Springs as well. There's typically lots of good food options depending on the resort you stay at. I know at the Coronado Springs, the food options there were so many. The thing about Coronado Springs is it's a moderate resort. So it's a little bit less than the deluxe resorts. It had a deluxe feel.
So there's 3 different kinds of like tiers to Disney resorts, right?
Yeah, and at Disney World specifically, there are value resorts, there's moderate resorts, and deluxe resorts, and each one kind of has its own perks and benefits. The value resorts are more affordable, whereas the moderate resorts have a bit more to them. There's more activities, things you can do like that, and then also at the deluxe resorts, there are added perks like early morning park entry, along with just usually there's more food or dining options, things like that.
Yeah, and of course, a heftier price.
Yes. Another thing that comes with staying on property, one of the pros of staying on property is the transportation options. Anywhere from buses and all these are included with the cost of your stay, not free. But you have the buses. You also have the Skyliner or boats, depending on where you're staying, where the resort is, and all that kind of stuff.
So basically, if you're at a Disney resort, you have a way to connect to other Disney resorts and to Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah, and Disney. Not downtown Disney.
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs. We are from California, if you didn't know, so I automatically think downtown Disney.
Yeah.
I know at the Yacht Club, our favorite part was the pool.
Yeah, Stormalong Bay is what it's called.
Yeah, it was so much fun. At that point, our kids were like, 11 and 13? 12 and 14?
Maybe younger than that. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but we had such a fun time. I wish we had more downtime at that resort.
I remember the first day we went to Disney World, they were like, can we go back and go in the pool? And we're like, we're at Disney World.
Yeah.
But that is one thing about those resorts is you can just enjoy being there. It is a wonderful experience.
Yeah, a lot of the resorts have themed pools and just fun experiences around the pools. And also lots of activities. There's movies after dark. A lot of the resorts have that. They have like a inflatable movie screen or something like that set up somewhere on the resort. You can watch a movie there. There's activities, there's games. I know we walked around the Riviera Resort and they had like life-size chess and other like bocce ball and other things like that. So there's lots of fun activities you can do around those types of resorts.
Yeah. One thing we love about Disney in general, and you probably have seen some of our Disney cruise videos, we love Disney because everything tells a story. And there is a definite storytelling aspect in the Disney resorts.
Next, we're going to talk about the cons.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like after saying all that, and I was not like planning it that way, it's just what came out, but it feels like I'm a salesperson for Disney resorts. But I definitely see some cons, especially when we compare it to staying off property.
Yeah, and the first one I want to highlight is the Disney tax. That's the kind of a funny coin term I've heard multiple times from different people. It's the premium price you pay for something with the name Disney added to it.
Yeah.
So you definitely pay the Disney tax when you stay at a Disney resort. Food options can also be really limited at some of the Disney resorts. Some of them, the nicer ones, are like Coronado Springs. There's a ton of food options, but a lot of them only have a couple of places, like a kind of like a quick service and maybe a sit-down dining option, and that's about it. Or maybe a pool bar.
Yeah, and the food is pretty much going to be pretty expensive if you're buying it from a Disney resort, and you might not feel like you have a lot of other options.
Yeah.
Especially if you're relying on the Disney transportation, you don't really even have a car, and you may only have a very small refrigerator in your room.
Yeah.
I do remember when we stayed at the Yacht Club, though, we did get delivery from we got Instacart delivery.
That's right.
We got water bottles, we got breakfast stuff, so like non-perishable, I think, mostly, and maybe some small refrigerator things like yogurts. So, I mean, we were still able to do that.
Yeah, there is some flexibility, but just keep in mind what's available on property there can be limited depending, again, on the resort.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, I think one of the biggest cons, especially when I compare it to where we stayed off property, is just the size of the room. I mean, if you're staying, for the most part, especially if you want it to be kind of Disney affordable, you know, we're a family of 4. So that means we have 2 queen beds in a room, and that is tight.
Yeah.
That can be very tight for
especially with 2 older teens like we do.
I mean, even when we were there when they were a little bit younger, it gets tight. If you're paying the price that we're going to talk about you're paying, if you are just using it for a bed and a shower and a closet, is it really worth that price?
Yeah, and that's one of the things you have to figure out, what's going to work best for you and your family and the circumstances of your vacation. Another thing that is a potential con is, depending on the resort, the larger ones especially, a lot of these are the moderate resorts and the valley resorts, is the long bus wait times. Because some of these resort properties are so huge and expansive, the bus takes forever to get from stop to stop to stop, because each of those resorts have multiple stops. Especially Coronado Springs can definitely be one of those.
I mean, there's also the lines, you know, for the Skyliner. I remember seeing the line. It just looked like it was going to take an hour even to get on that thing, especially at the end of the day or the beginning of the day.
Yes, you have to keep that in mind. It's free, but there is a price you pay, and usually that's time you lose.
Free to use the transportation, as in it's included.
Yes, that's what I meant.
For me, when we stayed at the Yacht Club, one of my favorite things was our kids had just gotten to the age where they could kind of be alone a little bit. And one night they wanted to stay at the hotel and get food from the hotel. And we went to we walked back to Epcot by ourselves.
Had a date night.
That was like the first time we ever did anything like that. It was so much fun. And they had everything they needed at the Yacht Club. And it was just so nice to just walk right over to Epcot. That was so much fun.
And the pool, we talked about this already. Stormalong Bay was just amazing. It's probably, we think, based on what we've seen when we visited some of the other resorts, we haven't stayed at many other resorts, but we've seen them. The pool was incredible, and they just refreshed it this last summer.
It has a sand bottom.
Has a sand bottom in some of the pool. It has a really long water slide. And it just has so many.
Like a sandbar in the middle that the kids can play on.
In the it's got like a sand entry area where the kids kind of hang out. There's also a nice like private adult getaway like hot tub there, and it's just where it's a little bit quieter. There's just so many good things about that resort that we love.
Yeah.
One of the other things about Coronado Springs that I really loved was they had multiple lounges, multiple dining spots, and they even have one. I think it's called Three Bridges. It's on Villa del Lago, which is like this area in the middle of the lake right there at Coronado Springs. I didn't get the chance to eat the food there, which I wish I did. There's so many good like options there. Like you could just eat at that resort and eat somewhere different each day. Next, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of staying off property.
And I think that Chris kind of got his mind changed because I think he was very dedicated to staying on Disney property.
I had actually already made reservations at Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yes.
For this last summer.
And, you know, you see the price tag and you think of all the other money you're going to spend at Disney. And I was just like, let's just look at the cost of some other places. Because I also love to do girl math. And I'm like, if I save $100 a night, like think of all of the yummy food I could eat at Disney World for that $100.
Yeah.
So we looked and we decided on a hotel that we ended up staying at.
Yeah, it was the Marriott Royal Palms, which is right next to and connected to Marriott World Center, which is a huge resort. We didn't want to stay at a huge resort, and so we opted for Royal Palms, and it was amazing. It was small, it was quiet. We had a huge room. We had a 2-bedroom villa. Like it literally felt like home for the week.
Yeah, 2-bedroom, a full kitchen, a balcony, a nice big couch. I mean, we had
our own
dryer.
Yeah, we had our own bathroom. The girls had a bathroom.
They had a bathroom. We had a jacuzzi in our bathroom.
Yeah.
And would you say it was like less than half the price of Disney?
More than less than half the price.
Yeah, it was so affordable.
Yeah, we'll talk about prices in the next section.
Yeah, but like what we got for the amount we spent was absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and it was great because this depends. Sometimes you can actually stay on Disney property at a non-Disney hotel. They have a number of those hotels near Disney Springs. Staying off property, this was about as close as you can get to on property, I think. It was literally a 2-minute drive to the main Walt Disney World entrance. It's not necessarily gates, but it's the entrance to Disney property, and you drive under the Disney World sign. Everyone loves that experience. So we got to experience that every day, which was so fun.
Yeah, and so we did have to rent a car.
Yep.
Although I guess we could have taken an Uber or something.
Well, we used credit card points, so we didn't pay any cash for it, which is great. But even if you do, think about all the money you're saving when you're staying off property, and you can put some of that money towards a rental car, which gives you a lot more flexibility. That is definitely one of the pros of staying off property, is it gives you a lot of flexibility as far as what you can do because you're saving more money.
You're also saving more money with food. I mean, we definitely love to eat at Disney whenever we can. We did a couple Target deliveries. We had a full kitchen. I didn't really cook, but we had some like pre-prepared stuff. I mean, I could have cooked, but I didn't want to.
But we also ordered dinner and had it brought to the hotel. And I can't remember, it was like sushi.
We did sushi one night. Yeah. We did pizza one night.
Yeah.
That's a lot less expensive than doing any kind of Disney taxed dining.
Yeah.
Our experience at Marriott Royal Palms also had fantastic service. I always think Disney has the very best service. Maybe Disney might be a little bit better, but it was great service. The pool was also really fun.
Yeah, and it was a small pool, but it was great.
There's a hot tub.
They had a hot tub. They had a little kids pool that was separate, I believe. They had shuffleboard.
Oh yeah, now it was really hot, so we didn't use a lot of that. When we had gone to
Disney, tennis courts too.
Yeah, when we had gone to Disney World the other time, it was in January. But the time with the Royal Palms was in the summer, so we were like in the pool, but we were not going to be playing shuffleboard.
No,
it's just way too hot.
There were people that were playing it, but not us.
We did have access to the larger resort that was close by, and it cost a little bit extra. But
Marriott's World Center.
Yeah, we were able to. They had fantastic water slides.
Well, they had this really big pool complex, and then they had this water park, like legit water park. If you stayed at the Marriott World Center, it would be included with the cost of your stay. But because we were staying at a different Marriott resort, but that was connected, we had access to it. But it was $25 per person per day that you use the water park.
Yeah, and they had like a little golf cart or bus that went back.
Yeah, a shuttle bus. Yeah. So the cons for staying off property: you don't have that built-in Disney transportation. We talked about some of the pros and cons with that already, but you don't have access to that if you're staying off property. So that's one con for sure.
Including you have to pay to park your car at Disney World.
Yes. So when you go in, stay at the parks, and you drive your car to park in the parking lot for each of the parks, it costs money.
I think it was like $25
or $35 per park, I think. Yeah. Unless you happen to know some friends who can get you in there and park for free, because they have, and you'll pass.
Thanks, guys.
You know who you are. Another con is you do miss out on certain perks. Like if you're staying at a Disney World Deluxe Resort, you miss out on early park entry. So there's things like that you're just not going to get. And you also staying outside that Disney bubble where you don't have the Disney theming everywhere, so you lose a little bit of that magic and all that kind of stuff. So it's just that's something that you lose. That's a con of staying off property. So just some personal reflections on our stay at the Royal Palms, Marriott's Royal Palms. It was really nice to be able just to start the day having breakfast and not have to worry about eating in the park where it could be really pricey.
Well, for me, it was also just so helpful to have that washer and dryer in our room.
That was huge.
I mean, we used it a few times, but mainly we used it right before we went on our Disney cruise. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to stay there. We had a whole week, and then we wanted to pack less, so we washed everything, and then we got on our cruise. That was wonderful.
That was the best way to start our cruise, was not having to pack for 2 weeks. We packed for a week, and it worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Another thing that we really did enjoy about where we stayed at Marriott's Royal Palms is it was fairly close to Disney Springs. So on a resort day, if we wanted to go eat dinner and go to Disney Springs and get back in the Disney experience, we drove over to Disney Springs a couple of times and did this, and I think it was maybe a 10-minute drive. Yeah, and it's really close.
The parking at Disney Springs is free.
It's free. Yeah. We do have a question for you. Have you stayed both on and off Disney property, and which did you prefer? What did you like? Let us know in the comments, and we'd love to just connect and engage with you guys there. So right now we're actually going to compare both the prices and just the convenience versus space, immersion versus that flexibility that you can get, and also which on or off property experience is best for who. Right before we sat down to film this video, I got online and I checked out Marriott's Royal Palms website to see what their price would be for this next summer, 2026, the same week we went to Disney World, which was kind of like mid-June. And I also went on Disney World's website to see what the same prices would be, same dates for 4 of us at both the Yacht Club and at, actually, I think I looked at the Beach Club, but also at Coronado Springs. Let's walk through those prices and be ready for a little bit of sticker shock. At Marriott's Royal Palms, $185 per night for a 2-bedroom villa. Yo.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna.
And that's the Marriott Bonvoy member rate. So, and that's free. Anyone can be a Bonvoy member.
I'm sure we will link the video that we have a room tour in, so you can see our room. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic room.
Yeah, it was so good and it's so easy, and it was great. Next, we'll look at the Beach Club, which is pretty much usually the same price as the Yacht Club. For a 2-queen room, $683 per night. And that's for like a resort view, which is really, it could be, the parking lot or a garden area, something like that.
The cheapest room.
Cheapest room, yeah.
Cheapest room.
And that was what is priced out right now just for a room rate only. And there are other rates you can get that are on discount right now. I think there's like a 25% discount if you do a package with tickets, but when we stayed off property, we didn't get a package with tickets. So the best comparison is what, I can share with you. A 1-bedroom villa at the Beach Club, because that's also a DVC resort. 1-bedroom villa was $858 a night, which honestly wasn't that much more than a standard 2-queen room. I
mean, it is if you're staying for 7 nights.
It is. Oh, that price adds up.
Yeah, that adds up.
Yeah. And I remember when we stayed there in 2021, it was like $350 a night because
it was right after COVID.
Yes.
I mean, we were coming right off COVID.
And they were trying to incentivize people to come. Yeah. So that's how we could stay there for, I think we stayed for like 8 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It was so much fun.
The next resort I want to highlight prices when these will be cheaper, more affordable, is Coronado Springs. So in a 2-queen room, it was an average of about $300 a night. It could be as low as $260 a night up to like $350 a night, depending on where you stayed on the property. Are you staying in Grand Destino Tower? Are you staying in one of the villages? What view are you going to get? And it would go up from there. That's better.
I mean, in my opinion, that is a pretty normal hotel cost.
Yeah.
But, I'm still comparing in my mind the fact that we had that giant villa, which was so much space.
Yes.
Which was just really nice.
It felt like we could live there for a week and be fully comfortable, spread out, or close together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Convenience versus space. Convenience, being on property. Yeah. Versus space to like spread out.
Okay, real quick
comparison.
If we're in Coronado Springs, do you still have that convenience factor? Because I haven't stayed there. So how easy is it to get to the parks?
I rented a car, which my work paid for. So it made it convenient enough for me because I didn't have to use the Disney buses. I don't know. We've used the Disney buses a few times. They never felt super convenient to us just because we had to wait for a little while.
Yeah.
So sometimes we opted to get an Uber or something. So
basically, you didn't have the convenience factor because you were renting a car just like you would have at
and that's just because I want to maximize my time.
And that's always good to maximize your time.
But a lot of people go and stay on Disney property and at a resort there and take the buses, and they love it.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's bad. It's just we don't like waiting around too long.
I mean, the thing is, if you're staying at a Disney resort, you can park on property for free, right?
You can, and I parked really close to my room at Coronado, which was really great.
No, I mean, when you go to Disney World, like if you go to Animal Kingdom, don't you not pay for parking if you're staying at a Disney hotel?
If you're staying at a Disney resort, that is a convenience factor. You don't have to pay to park at the parks.
So that is good to remember.
That is good. That's a good thing to remember for sure. And that speaks to the flexibility of staying off property. Is you have a lot more flexibility with the cost that you're not paying for your room, and so you can spend that money in other places.
Yeah. I love staying at the Yacht Club. I really love saving that much money because Disney vacations are so expensive.
They are. They've gotten even more expensive in the last few years.
So when I feel like I'm saving money in one place, then I feel a little bit less bad about like the amount of money you're paying at because the food is really good at Disney World.
It is.
And I want to eat it.
Yeah, of course.
So I feel better about it when I'm spending less money on the hotel.
That's true. That's a good point. On the other side, we have immersion. So on one hand, you got flexibility, staying off property, but having that Disney immersion, having that Disney theming is really nice. There is a price you pay for it, but if that's what you want, then go for it. There's a lot of Disney resorts on Disney World property.
Yeah, and I think there's certain times when that would be especially important,
Yeah, if it's
and worth it.
If it's a really like a huge landmark vacation celebrating something really big in your life, that totally makes sense. If your kids are little and you think having that Disney magic is just gonna make that vacation even more memorable, I think that could be for sure worth it.
I was thinking also like maybe a honeymoon. You just want to have like a Disney honeymoon, like stay in the nicer hotel, like spend the extra money if you can. Yeah.
So finally, we want to talk about our recommendation. Like, what do we recommend based on our experience, which is all we can, connect it to. So when would we stay at a Disney resort?
Well, on the last trip, we were going on a Disney cruise afterwards, and that is pricey. And we had
especially the treasure.
And we had a whole week beforehand in Disney World. So if we did not have that Disney cruise and it was just Disney World trip, I think I would have really enjoyed the trip more if we stayed on property.
Yeah, I agree. We may rent a car, we may not. It just depends on the resort, where it's at, how close it is to other, the Disney parks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's of course depending on budget, but we would think of the pros and cons a little bit differently in that circumstance.
When will we stay off property? I think you can go back to our experience this summer.
I mean, if we were to do this 10 years ago, before we both had full-time jobs, no matter what we were doing, we would have stayed off property because we would have been able to go to Disney World and afford it.
Yes.
Whereas, now we both have full-time jobs, so we can probably pick and choose at this point in our lives.
Yeah. And so it depends on how much financial flexibility you have, what your budget looks like for vacations. For sure, because we attached a cruise to this vacation that we took this last summer, it made a lot more sense for us to stay off property and to save that money so we didn't have immense credit card bills coming home. We would like to end with this question. If you could choose only one, staying in the Disney bubble or saving some money by staying off property, which would you choose and why? Let us know in the comments, and we love to just hear about your experience there, your perspective, and engage with you there.
We hope that you found this video helpful. If you're planning a trip or just found it helpful, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. We have lots of fun content, Disney cruises, lots of Disney stuff, but also other just things that we love to do.
Yeah, in our next video that's coming, we actually go to Disneyland and spend the day there. We share our experience of our family's day there with our girls. But we go there because we had a bucket list experience. We got to eat lunch at Club 33 with friends, and it was incredible. So we can't wait to share that with you guys. We will see you guys again really soon. We love you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.